You join now the late John Galbraith, your old friend, as the only owners ever to have won the Epsom Derby and the Kentucky Derby.
Oh, I didn't realize that. That's great. And the Arc de Triomphe.
And the Arc de Triomphe. By the way, let's not forget that baby. After a lifetime in racing, what's your reaction?
A long lifetime.
Yeah, that's right. What's your reaction?
Very happy to have made it by this age.
Right on his girths too, and Quayside last as they turn into the straight. 3.5 furlongs to go now, mostly uphill. And Brightbeam and Kay Brasho are still leading it. Welsh Pageant is close in behind them on the inside. Mill Reef moving smoothly up on the outside of the field together with Caro. 2.5 furlongs to go, and Mill Reef has come through to take it up with Caro pressing him on this side. As they pass the 2 furlong marker, it's Mill Reef and Caro coming away with Quayside in third place, followed by Welsh Pageant. The 2 pacemakers have dropped out of it, and with 1.5 furlongs to go, it's Mill Reef from Caro. Mill Reef definitely clear of Caro with just over 1 furlong to go. A long way back in third place, Quayside, followed by Welsh Pageant. 150 yards to go, and it's Mill Reef coming away in magnificent style, well clear of Caro in second place. A good race for third place as they come up to the line. Mill Reef the winner, Caro second.
And they're running. And Madged, in fact, broke quite fast towards the left. Shady Heights right towards the right of the picture. Ramboogie, and right up with them Rebel Razor and Forest Flower with a sheepskin noseband. It's Madged on the near side though with the advantage from Rebel Razor and Ramboogie. Forest Flower just in behind, and Darley Knight tracking Forest Flower as they run down now past the 4 furlong marker, racing towards the 3 now. Madged on the inside, right up with them Rebel Razor and Ramboogie, and Shady Heights over on the far side. Forest Flower tucked in just behind Madged and Rebel Razor as they come down towards the 2 furlong marker now. And it's Rebel Razor with Forest Flower now coming between Rebel Razor and Ramboogie. Shady Heights over on the far side. They're coming down to the furlong pole now, and Forest Flower, the only filly, strikes the front now from Shady Heights over on the far side, and it's Forest Flower now from Shady Heights. Tony Eyes from Steve Cawthon as they race into the closing stages. The filly Forest Flower from Shady Heights putting in the determined challenge over on the far side, but it's Forest Flower lengthening her stride. She's going to win it as they come to the line. Forest Flower has won it from Shady Heights, quite close, but judge could call for a photo, but she's won it all right. Carol's Treasure and is right up there, very close for third with Killer Spree. Ramboogie right up with them, very close for third, but I think little doubt that Forest Flower has just held that very determined challenge by Shady Heights, but officially it's a photo finish between number 12 Forest Flower, number 11 Shady Heights, and a photo for third place between Ramboogie, Carol's Treasure, and Kelly Spree. Central Line is next, and then Little Wolf coming down to the 3 furlong pole. Amindas now as La Fontaine loses ground. Amindas takes it up. Diamond Shoal is going smoothly. Little Wolf is making progress towards the left of the picture. Spot his white face there. That's Central Line in between he and Diamond Shoal, but it's Amindas in the lead as they hit the 2 furlong pole. From Diamond Shoal, Little Wolf, Willie Carson still making ground on the near side. Diamond Shoal now in contention with Amindas, then Little Wolf. They're inside the final furlong. Diamond Shoal and Steve Cawthon going away now, and this looks like remaining in the family of the John Porter as the full brother of last year's winner Glint of Gold strides away here to win. Diamond Shoal from Little Wolf in second, Amindas third. That's the 1, 2, 3. Diamond Shoal, Little Wolf and Amindas. Central Line came next, followed by Kepur, and behind Kepur was Broken Rail, and then came Norwick, and finally the early leader La Fontaine. And so the result of the John Porter, first number 6 Diamond Shoal, owned by Mr. Paul Mellon, trained by Ian Balding and written by Steve Cawthon. Second number 1 Little Wolf, owned by Lord Porchester, trained by Dick Hearn and written by Willie Carson. And third number 3 Amindas, owned by Mrs. H.G. Cambanis, trained by Bruce Hobbs and written by Jeff Baxter. The judge has called on a photo to determine 4th place between Central Line and Kepur. But my goodness, no doubt about the winner. Diamond Shoal, full brother to the 82 winner, repeats the family success. very comfortably indeed. A double for Steve Cawthon. Number 9 of the winner for him, number 9 of the season for him. Here's how he won it as we review it with Julian.
A really brilliant performance this by Diamond Shoal, but Leicester did everyone all the stayers a favour by setting a tremendous gallop here. It helped Jeff Baxter because Amendus was running a little free for the first 2 furlongs, and it helped him settle in. He hit the front 2.5 out and ran his usual brave race. But once Steve had moved up on the outside on Diamond Shoal, the issue was beyond doubt. Willie Carson flattered for a moment on Little Wolf, who ran a terrific race, ran as though 1 3/4 miles is possibly his trip now. But Diamond Shoal has won like a really high-class horse. This is by far the best performance of his career, and like Glint of Gold, he seems to be improving with age. He's put 2-3 lengths between himself and Little Wolf, with Amendus, who's a marvellous yardstick because he's such a brave and consistent horse, back in 3rd place. But Diamond Shoal giving Steve Cawthon a brilliant double.
In 2nd place on the inside, Last Light. Then Capstan coming under pressure up on the outside, coming up on the very, very wide outside and moving quite smoothly. A 6 mile bottom, 2.5 to go. And it's Little Wolf. Now Glint of Gold has got an opening. Little Wolf, Glint of Gold, 6 mile bottom, Capstan. And within a 1/4 mile to go, it's Glint of Gold who has come alongside to challenge Little Wolf. Little Wolf and Glint of Gold, little choose between the two. Glint of Gold on the outside, just proving the stronger. Glint of Gold going on with a furlong to go. Glint of Gold in the lead from Little Wolf in 2nd place. These are well clear of Capstan and 6 mile bottom as they come up towards the line. Glint of Gold going to win it with authority. Glint of Gold, John Matthias strolling up to the line from Little Wolf in 2nd place up the line. Glint of Gold, the winner. Little Wolf is in 2nd place and Capstan 3rd. 6 mile bottom 4th, and then behind that one came Last Light, and Buzz Bombardi trailed. And so the result of this, the Great Voltiger, is a win for number 1, Glint of Gold, owned by Mr. Paul Mellon, bred by him, trained at Kingsclear by Ian Balding and ridden by John Matthias, number 23 of the season for John. 2nd was number 6, Little Wolf, ridden by Lester Piggott, and 3rd was number 3, Capstan, ridden by Joe Mercer.
They're racing towards the 2 furlong pole. And it's Mellow Dance from Golden Ivory. Golden Ivory takes it up now. And here comes Roussillon on the outside. Trojan Fen is under pressure and making no progress. And here comes Roussillon to challenge and take it up from Golden Ivory. Trojan Fen making no impression at all. It's going to be 2-0 to Greville Starkey in his confrontation with Lester Piggott as Roussillon is challenged again by Golden Ivory. And Golden Ivory putting in a tremendous challenge now on the far side, and he's going to get the better of him. And at the line, Golden Ivory wins it from Roussillon in 2nd. Trojan Fen is 3rd. Great Western 4 and 5, the long-time leader Mellow Dance. So Golden Ivory fought his way back up the straight inside the final furlong to win, ultimately going away. And the result of the Royal Lodge Stakes: first, number 1, Golden Ivory, owned by Mr. Paul Mellon, trained by Ian Balding and ridden by Steve Cawthon. 2nd was number 4, Roussillon, owned by Mr. Khaled Abdallah, trained by Guy Harwood and ridden by Greville Starkey. And 3rd was number 5, Trojan Fen, owned by Mr. Stavros Niarchos, trained by Henry Cecil and ridden by Lester Piggott. 4th was number 2, Great Western. So Golden Ivory beaten 8 lengths by Lear Fan, the possible champion of the Guy Harwood team, comes out and beats them all in the Royal Lodge to become number 85 of the season for Steve Cawthon, number 48 for Ian Balding. A double for these two. Here's their winner. Here's how he won it, reviewed by Julian Wilson.
Well, I'm seldom seeing them go such a blazing gallop in the Royal Lodge. Mellow Dance and Golden Ivory made it, and they've burst the 2 good ones, because Trojan Fen's the first horse beaten here. Greville Starkey's come on the outside, looking sure to win on Roussillon, and he's cut down his rival and looked as though he was going to go away and win like a really good horse. But inside the final furlong, his stamina's come to an end. That's the end of it. Lester Piggott looks over his shoulder. He knows that he's going to be 3rd all right. And Greville Starkey just feels now possibly that he's got a dying horse underneath him. He'd gone half a length up on Steve Cawthon on Golden Ivory, but now Greville knows he's in trouble because his horse has run into a crisis, and you can see him actually curling up there. Golden Ivory, who's tough and stays really well, who's been up with the pace throughout, keeps on galloping and is now increasing his lead in the last 100 yards to gain a famous victory. Roussillon is a creditable 2nd and Trojan Fen 3rd.
Steve returning on this giant killer. Golden Ivory by Key to the Mint, out of Ivory Wand by Sir Ivor.
Get out, Steve, my boy. Under pressure third, Yorkshire Holly under pressure also is fourth, and it's Crystal Spirit, the novice, the least experienced runner in the field, who's looking strong at the moment on the left as Richard Dunwoody gets to work on Mutari as they run to the 10th and final flight. Mrs. Mack has pulled up over the last. Crystal Spirit touches down just ahead of Mutari second. They're going clear of Yorkshire Holly and Ruan, but Crystal Spirit staying on well. Mutari doesn't look like pegging him back. Crystal Spirit in Paul Mellon's colours, ridden by Jimmy Frost, is staying on to beat Mutari. 50 yards to run. Crystal Spirit has it. Crystal Spirit is the winner. Mutari second, Yorkshire Holly third, Ruan 4, Jimbaloo 5 running on. Then Calabrese 6, Past Glory 7, None So Wise 8, and the only one not to finish, Mrs. Mack, who pulled up. And so the result of the Bishop's Cleeve hurdle, first number 9, Crystal Spirit, owned by Mr. Paul Mellon, trained by Ian Balding and ridden by Jimmy Frost.
Well, through seeing races when I was at Cambridge, fox hunting, then sending 1 or 2 chasers over there, and then I was there for 2 years during the war, so that I've always had an affinity for things in England. So it was natural for me to race in England.
It was Mill Reef in the early 70s and the way in which Paul Mellon was determined to campaign him extensively that endeared the American owner to the British racing public. Before Mill Reef fractured his cannonbone on the gallops at Kingsclear, Mellon had decided to campaign him again as a 5-year-old, unheard of for such a top-class horse.
He was really a great horse. And he was a wonderful-looking horse. I mean, he wasn't all that big. And he had beautiful action in his races. And, of course, he won a lot of races, which can't help but endear you to any horse. But he was really something special. He became one of the top sires in England, and he, in his first, I think it was his first or second crop, he had 2 Derby winners, a horse that won the English Derby and another horse that won the French Derby. And he died when he was 18. But in the meantime, he'd had, I think, 3 years, he was the leading sire in England. And that in itself, I mean, when you add that to his racing record, he was a great horse.
It was the suitability of British tracks that determined Mill Reef's racing destination, but how has Mellon decided which yearlings stay in America and which go to Europe?
Well, I don't really usually make that decision. You know, Elliot Birch trained for me for a long time, and he and his father used to look at the yearlings when it was time to make the decision. And usually we had Ian Balding, the trainer in England here, and he still comes over every summer to Saratoga, and then we come down here and look at the yearlings, and it's all decided then. Naturally, I have the veto on it, and if I thought that one horse would do better than another in England, I would say so, and on 1 or 2 occasions I may have. But I leave that up to the experts.
Although Paul Mellon no longer has breeding stock in Britain, his regard for British racing has never wavered, as Ian Balding told us 2 years ago.
He loves his racing in England and really can afford, hopefully, almost to turn a blind eye to our pathetic prize money situation. And, you know, he says, right, you're going to train 30 horses for me, and they're there, and I don't want them back in America. If they're no good, sell them. But you've got them to train for as long as you want, sort of thing. So it's up to me to say when we geld them, whether they go jumping, whether we sell them, whether they go back to stud.
Pride of place at Kingsclear will always go to Mill Reef. His victories in the Derby and the Arc, together with Sea Hero's victory at Churchill Downs, gives Paul Mellon a unique position in racing history.
If you take the English Derby, the Kentucky Derby, and the Arc de Triomphe, they're all equal in my mind. I mean, seeing each one of them and seeing the result of each one of them, I can't possibly make a distinction between the three of them. They're all great races. And I've just been very, very lucky to have the horses that won them. To finish off a career in racing with having won those three big races, it's a wonderful feeling. That's all I can tell you that it means to me. It means a great deal. I'm very, very happy.